All right, let's talk about work zone safety. I-57 is under construction all the time right now, isn't it? yeah, it's kind of annoying. And we see this stuff. Like this next slide is actually a dash cam inside of a semi. Watch this. What are you looking for a construction zone? Watch what happens here. What did he miss? Just slow down. He did. He missed the construction sign letting him know that there was slow traffic ahead. Did you see what he was doing just prior to the crash?
Yeah, he was looking up in his visor.
He was looking inside of the vehicle. And everybody says, oh, cell phones are bad. And they say, this is against the law. But is this the only problem we have with distraction? No. It's not, is it? Is it against the law for you to change the radio station?
No.
Is it against the law for you to reach into the floorboard where you dropped your jujubes? No, right? It's not against the law, but is it a dumb choice?
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's what we really want to pay attention to, the construction zones, is minimizing the dumb choices, because there are a lot of different people's lives at stakes. When you look at construction zone safety, it averages only 5 workers per year. And you're like, wait a minute, Sergeant Watson, that doesn't make sense to me. Who dies in construction zones? What are your thoughts? Who are the people that are dying in construction zones?
The workers in this.
That's what everybody says, right? And that's what I thought too. So when I gathered these statistics, I was like, that is not right. How is that possible? But it is. And here it is in orange and blue for you to take a look at. The drivers and pedestrians are actually the people that are passing through, account for 95% of the people that are dying in construction zones.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? I didn't think that either. I was like, oh no, it's always the workers. No, they only account for 5%. Yeah, it's the people that are passing through, it's us. So moving that concept forward, how is it that we have to drive 24/7, 365 through a construction zone marked at 55 miles an hour? We'll come there, right? Because that's really the bread and butter. The construction zone isn't set up necessarily for us or for the construction workers. It's set up for us, isn't it? We'll get there. All right.
A highway work zone is a dangerous place. Construction and maintenance workers put their lives on the line every day, often working just an arm length away from traffic moving 50 to 60 miles an hour. Signs are put up, cones are placed, and flaggers direct traffic, but highway workers live with the knowledge that death and injury could be a heartbeat away.
That's kind of creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Close.
That was close.
Minivan hit our crash attenuator, shot across the median, across westbound traffic into the field out north of the interstate. When we finally got up to the driver, he just said he wasn't paying attention. We had all our lights going, but he just said he wasn't paying attention.
This is a local case study. This happened on I-57. You guys know where West Frankfort is, right?
Right.
This is about a mile north of West Frankfort. This is I-57 northbound. Have you ever seen these trailers that are on the back of an IDOT vehicle? It's called a crash attenuator. They run about $10,000 a piece, right? So quite a bit of money just for the trailer alone. And what it does is it absorbs energy. So when a vehicle hits it, like has happened here, it absorbs the energy and keeps the energy from going into the IDOT vehicle and saving lives, right? So the IDOT worker doesn't get injured. It also absorbs energy out of the crash so that the person driving doesn't get as much energy absorbed into their body, right? So great piece of equipment, but they're expensive, right? So we've now hit it with a 2000 and I think it was a 14 GMC Yukon Denali. This thing had everything. It had power nose wipe. You pushed a button and this arm came in. You guys believe this, right? Okay, never mind. It's a nice vehicle though. It's about a $70,000 vehicle. So we've plowed into the back of this thing, and you know what happened here? So we've got, I'll back up a slide here. We've got this arrow board. They're in the left-hand lane, and they're moving traffic over into the right-hand lane. But what type of construction zone is this? Do you guys see the hint? And I'll point it out here. What is that? What are they doing? Let me help you out a little bit more. This is March. Late March, early April. That vehicle right there is laying hot patch. They're fixing potholes because of the winter, right? So this is a moving construction zone. And I show this to let you know all construction zones aren't stationary behind a concrete wall, right? Some of them move down the road, right? So this is kind of important to make sure that you understand. So what happened in this case, GMC Yukon Denali, $70,000 truck, slams into the back of the crash attenuator. So now we've got about $80,000 worth of damage, right? So the insurance agent's happy, right? So we've plowed in, we've got injuries to the vehicle, and we've got injuries to the driver. The IDOT worker is thankfully fine, but the problem, the whole problem, you know what caused this problem?
Distracted driving.
Yep, distracted.
Cell phone. Yeah, and what was worse, going back here, this was the first vehicle. Second vehicle, way down here, there was actually a third vehicle, and he had gone around it and went back to his cell phone and struck the second vehicle in the line. Yeah, so he was distracted. So let's go over to Illinois 154. This is over on Wren Lake. You guys know where the water goes across the water over on Wren Lake.
Yep.
Same type of situation. They've slammed into the back of it. This time it was a Chevrolet Malibu. Wow. Totaled, gone, right? Same thing, exact same thing. How do you hit a big orange truck with yellow flashy lights? How does that even happen?
Very distracted.
Very distracted, and that's exactly what happened in both of these instances. All right, so let's talk about some of the work zone laws. When you come into a construction zone, do you have to pay attention to the speed limit?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
When?
When it's posted.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, when it's posted at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you still have to pay attention to the speed limit sign?
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody there. Like, you're the only person on the road. Why do you have to pay attention to the speed limit sign?
Because there could be equipment now.
Ah, very good. Rock on. Had a girl. All right, so they didn't pick up their stuff, did they? They didn't put all the holes back together. They didn't put all the bridges back together in one day, did they? They left all of their equipment out there. They've got all these barrels, all these lane shifts, pavement differentials, right? So all of that stuff is still out there. That's why you've got to pay attention to the speed limit sign 24/7, 365, even if they're at home in bed dreaming about Bambi, dreaming about Disney, whatever it is they're dreaming about. They don't care what you're doing in their construction zone, but it's set up for you, isn't it? Remember, 95% of the people that die in construction zones are the people passing through it, not the workers. And this is really the meat and potatoes of why. Because they didn't take all this stuff down. So it's for you and the workers, yes, but it's mostly for you. They do not need to be present. You're exactly right. Great job with that. And also, you have to yield to authorized emergency vehicles or construction vehicles. Does this sound kind of familiar? Have you guys ever heard of this law? What is that? What is that law? Yield to stationary authorized emergency vehicles. Does that sound like the Scots law or the move over law?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. So let's talk about who are the 5 parties that are protected by Scots law. Actually, 6.
Firefighter.
Pick me, right? Police,
Yeah,
fire,
police.
right? So we got police, fire. Who else?
EMS.
EMS, very good. What's another one?
Construction.
Yeah, right. So we got police, fire, EMS, construction. And what's the last one? This is the one that nobody ever gets. This one's the hard one. Think yellow flashy lights. I'll give you another hint. Think I'm broke down.
Oh, like tow vehicle.
Tow truck, very good. So police, fire, EMS, construction, tow truck, and also they changed the law so if you break down on the side of the road, say you've got a flat tire. You've got a flat tire on the driver's side of your vehicle and you're on the right shoulder and people are blowing by your booty at like 70 miles an hour. Would you like them to move over? Yeah, right. That's why you turn on your 4-way emergency flashers, and this law now applies to you. It's called the move over law. So it's also known as Scott's Law because of Lieutenant Scott Gillen. He's up in Chicago. He died whenever a vehicle blew through his emergency scene and pinned him against a fire truck. So that's why that law exists, just to protect the emergency workers. And now you're getting to benefit from it. Coolio, right? All right. And even Fred Bird's on board with this. Like, everybody's on board with this. All right. So last thing, you got to pay attention to the flagger. How would you like to have the job where you're the chicken in Crossy Road, right? Think about it. Think about standing there with that flag and having to dodge traffic because they're not paying attention. That's basically what the job of a flagger is. So this is an official sign. She's giving you direction in a construction zone because she knows what's going on back here and you don't. So she's trying to help you get through that. Does IDOT want you to fail in a construction zone? No, dude, there's a mountain of paperwork with this, right? They don't want you to fail. They want you to successfully negotiate that scene So they're going to give you everything you need to do to get through that scene successfully. All you got to do is read it and pay attention, right? So 2 keys really in a construction zone. A little work zone humor. All right, so moving on with the construction laws. Can you drive down the roadway at 16 years old talking on a cell phone?
No.
No. Can you at 18 years old drive down the roadway talking on a cell phone?
I don't believe so.
Hmm.
Is that where the cutoff is?
Oh, come on. Oh, I thought you were going. I thought you were on it here. Can you at 18 years old drive down the roadway talking on a cell phone? Yes. How?
Through
Bluetooth.
wireless.
Bluetooth, wireless, hands-free connected, right? So you can do this. What are the 2 locations you cannot do that?
In a construction.
Construction and?
Would it be school zone?
Very good.
Oh,
Rock
there
on,
you
yeah.
go.
Yep, construction and school zone. Now, who is the one person you can talk to in those 2 locations?
EMS.
Yeah, 911 operator, right? Not your girlfriend about your OMG moment, like a 911 operator, right? So those are the distracted driving laws. But let me ask you, is this actually the problem?
No.
No, it's not, is it? The act of picking up a cell phone isn't the problem. And in fact, they've done studies on cell phones. It's not about picking up the phone. It's more about the conversation that is occurring. Let me call you up. So I'll call you up. We'll have a conversation. Now you, on the other end of this, you are Bluetooth, hands-free connected. You're over 18. You're not in a construction zone. You're in compliance with the law, right? You're good to go.
Right.
I'm going to call you up. Hey, what's for supper tonight? Like that, how much did that take out of you? Like nothing. Like we have chicken every night of the world, so how many ways can you cook it? Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you later. I hang up, I call back in about 10, 15 minutes. Now I'm gonna call you back and we're gonna have a little bit more serious conversation. I'm gonna call you back and say, hey, I don't love you anymore. Right? So what did that do to your heart, right? I'm gonna call you back and say, hey, I'm pregnant. Whoa! You're gonna crash, right? Like it's like things. Your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's not even going 60, right? You're driving down the interstate, but you have no ability to keep your mind on the focused task, and that's really the issue. Is it's not about the act of the cell phone. It's about what the conversation has taken out of us. So, like we were talking a second ago, there's apps for that, right? They got an app for that. They got an app for everything, right? So. Tell the app, hey, you know, when I get above XYZ number of miles per hour, I want you to go ahead and disable the functionality of the phone, and I'm good to go. It'll answer it automatically for me. It'll get me where I'm going. I'll get the text, and then I can answer them and take care of business. So it's about a choice, isn't it? That's really the key, is it's about a choice. Distracted driving is about a choice. All right, so obviously you can't make phone calls. You guys don't email, right? No, like who emails anymore? That's nothing, right? What about texting? Oh, now we're getting a little closer, right? Oh, now we're getting there. Snapchat, Instagram, like social media, right? Like, oh, look at me, I'm in a construction zone, looking all cool, right? No. Push the red light on that one. If you're on your phone, you're wrong in a construction zone or a school zone, unless it's an absolute emergency. And the only people you can really talk to at that point are the 911 operator, okay? All right, so where does the construction zone begin? If you see these signs right here, these are the enforcement signs, right? So you've seen warning signs way back here, like 3 miles out and like a mile out and a half mile out. And now you've seen this one right here, these 2 enforcement signs. If you were to draw an imaginary line between that line, those 2 signs, that's where your construction zone officially begins, and you're held accountable for the speed. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of a trade secret here, right? So in your driver's ed, if you remember, it actually has a 500-foot grace period inside of a regular speed zone. You guys remember this, right? Mm-hmm. On a construction zone or a school zone, there is no grace period.
Oh, wow.
You are held accountable for that speed at that sign. There's no 500 feet past that. There's no oozing into the zone, right? So that's where you're held accountable for that speed. All right, so let's talk about the combined efforts of IDOT and ISP. They partner with us and they say, hey, we need you to go out and keep the people in the construction zone safe. Oh, all right, I'm all about it. Let's go do this, right? So how do we do that? We write speeding tickets, unfortunately. Do I like writing speeding tickets? Heck no, I hate it, right? I hate writing speeding tickets. But what I know about speeding tickets is it changes driving behavior. Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, you want to change driving behavior because people's lives are at stake. So when they're focused on the road, when they're paying attention to the speed laws, when they're focused on their lane changes, they're driving better, less people are injured in crashes. So it makes a difference, but I don't like it still, okay? So we also have photo vans. Have you guys ever seen one of these photo vans? Whoa, kind of sneaky, right? So what's this thing taking a picture of?
It's going to take a picture of your license plate.
Yes, smile and wave. Don't have your phone in your hand, right? It's going to take a picture of your face. It's also going to take a picture of the back plate. And what are they going to do with that evidence?
They're going to look at it and they're going to mail you a ticket.
Oh, they're going to mail you a ticket. What's the first one for? How much?
Is it like at least $375?
Oh, very good. Very good. The first offense, $375. So that's, wait, isn't that about the cost of a PlayStation?
That's a lot, yeah.
Whoa, right? Puts it in perspective for your age group, doesn't it? It's a lot of money. So the first offense is $375. What's the second one? You guys know it? $1,000 for the second offense, driving in a construction zone. Yeah, so it's like 2.5 PlayStations. It's a lot of money, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lot of money. So yes, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to send a ticket in the mail to you. All right, so we're going to be paying attention in the construction zones. We're going to be enforcing the laws, but we also want you, again, to successfully succeed, so we're going to provide you all kinds of different signs that tell you what you need to do. They've even got active signs that tell you how fast you're going. Huh? That's kind of cool, right? Yeah, really neat improvement, and you don't want the frowny face, right? You don't want the sad face, right? So pay attention to the signs. If you see that sign down there in the lower right-hand corner, what are you going to do? I'm going to get off the interstate, right? Do you want to wait 40 minutes in traffic?
No.
You come up to that sign and on down the road about a quarter mile, there's an exit. Wouldn't that be a good opportunity, right, to find a different route? Ask Google or Siri, hey, can you reroute me around this construction zone? Yeah, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you frustration. So if you see this, they've got these signs out there. Take advantage of them. They're giving you cues, and they're making it easier for you to navigate the roadway safely. And of course, yep, that's me up there writing a ticket to a minivan driver, like a mom in a minivan. You're like, well, Sergeant Watson, that's kind of jerky, right? Well, I changed her driving behavior, and that's really the important part. I don't like writing that ticket, but at the end of the day, by writing that ticket, it changes the driving behavior, and now we have a safer roadway for everybody. So it's a good thing, okay?
Yeah.
All right, you were right, nailed it on the head, 375. We talked about the 1,000 already, good to go. But they're also going to suspend your driver's license, right? There's potential for $10,000 fine, time in jail, like it's bad stuff, right? So don't mess around in construction zones. They are going to suspend the driver's license for speeding, failure to yield, proceed with due caution in construction zones. Like there's a lot of penalties and a lot of enforcement out there. You want to make sure and pay attention. All right, obviously causing a crash is going to be a bad thing. So to conclude, let's take a look at this thing. Always pay attention to your surroundings. Put down the cell phone. You see orange, man, drop it and drive. Pay attention, right? You need to be doing that all the time, but this is really where it becomes critical because it's not just about you at that point. There's people that are in these construction zones, like for instance, if I had a construction zone, I've got 2 kids and a wife at home, right? I want to go home to them. I want to make good decisions about what I'm doing behind the barrel. I'm hoping you guys are making good decisions about what you're doing on the other side of the barrel, right?
Right.
All right, so pay attention. Make sure you're paying attention to the speed limit, whether they're present or not. Slow down. Don't use your cell phone. We already covered that one. And again, a little work zone humor. Somebody hacked the board, but that's kind of funny, right? and this is really what it's all about. You know, when I go home at the end of the day, Maggie is my daughter. She's 9 years old. It does not matter what Maggie is doing. Maggie stops what she's doing, and she runs full force, and Maggie's a little bit... She's my sturdy girl. Like she comes in, she runs full force, bam! She crashes into me and gives me a big old hug. Glad you made it home from work today, Dad. That's what it's really all about, is making sure that we're protecting the people on the roadway that we're sharing it with.
Right.
You guys got any questions?
So have you ever wrecked your bike on duty?
Now, I've never wrecked the state police motorcycle, but I have been in crashes on my personal motorcycle. You saw the deer versus motorcycle.
Right.
That was on a personal bike. I've actually struck 2 deer with 2 different motorcycles. So yeah, I unfortunately have had. But the thing about it is I realize because of what I do and what I teach, there's a certain level of personal protective equipment that I never go without. When you see me on the road, I promise you, I will make this promise to you personally. I'll look you in the eye and I swear it to you. You will see me with padded jacket, padded pants, gloves, eye protection, a helmet, and you'll see me with some sort of tall boot every time. I guarantee it. That's just how I ride. So I've realized that there are dangers out there, and I try to mitigate that risk as best as I can by using the proper protective equipment, because it's not on the bike like we talked about. It's got to be brought out of the closet and put on my body, and I'm responsible for that. So I make good choices to keep myself safe. Now the question is, are you going to make good choices on the road?
I have a question. Do the same rules for a motorcycle apply to a scooter?
So licensing requirements for a scooter are different. With a scooter, they're 50 cc's, and anything 50 cc and under, it's actually 49 cc. Anything 49 cc and under does not require a specialized license. For the L class, they say on a motorcycle, it's that 50 up to 150 that requires an L classification on your driver's license, and it requires a special test. For 150 and above, it requires an M classification, and that's, again, is tested through the Secretary of State.
Gotcha.
So that's the rules for licensing, but think about it from the safety perspective. With the laws for eye protection, for foot pegs, and all of the other stuff that are required on motorcycles, it doesn't matter whether it's a 50 cc or whether it's a 1,000 cc. They all have to have the same equipment. Now let's go back to the issue of the choice of your protective equipment. You often see scooter riders with a baseball cap and flip-flops on. Is that a good choice?
No.
But is it against the law?
No.
It's not, right? So a lot of issues on the roadway can be solved by making better choices. The law is the minimum standard that you should be paying attention to. You should be making choices that put you in that next category where you're a defensive driver, because that's the holy grail of driving safety, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Where you're taking personal responsibility for your actions, and you're making yourself safer and also making other people safer by making choices that not only impact you and your safety, but all of the other roadway users as well. So that's really the holy grail, is that defensive driving posture on the roadway. So did that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. So to wrap up with construction zone safety and work zone safety, basically the things that you need to remember: put down the distractions. Make sure you're paying attention on the roadway. If you see orange, slow down, reduce your speed, start focusing on the roadway and the surroundings around you, and also pay attention to what other drivers are doing, again, to make that as a defensive driver, because that, again, is the holy grail.